Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us today is Chris Papst, and he wrote a new book, Failure Factory. And he believes that our education system is broken, needs to be fixed. And Chris Papst is a reporter for Project Baltimore, for Fox 45 in Baltimore. And well, Chris, give us an indicator. How bad is our education system?
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. So it's, we've all seen over the years how taxpayers are putting massive amounts of additional funding into public education, but we're not seeing that the student academic outcomes are improving with that funding. And largely why I wrote Failure Factory is because in Baltimore City specifically, but this is certainly not a Baltimore problem, this is an America problem, we have seen over the past 8 years that the funding for the school system has increased by 30% over the past 8 school years. But the graduation rate has remained exactly the same. It's been 70%. It was 70% 8 years ago, and it's 70% now, with a 30% funding increase. And we are seeing that throughout the entire country. And the reason that I wrote Failure Factory is because I see Baltimore as in the end stages of what a failing public education system does to a community and does to a society. Baltimore is a struggling city. Its population is dwindling, very high crime, very high murder rates, very high poverty rates. It's struggling. And I make the case in the book that those things are not the problem. Those things are a symptom of the problem. The problem is a very expensive public education system that is not providing the proper education to its people. But it's not just Baltimore. This is happening throughout the country.
Understood. It's I live in New York City, and ever since COVID, I'm very, very much concerned about the education system in New York City. And it happens that it's not only Baltimore, not only New York City, but I'm concerned that it's in a lot of our cities and states. What do you think?
Well, what Failure Factory is it's 8 years of me working for Fox 45 News as an investigative reporter covering public education every single day, talking to parents, talking to students, talking to administrators and kids and teachers. And I have a lot of these interviews in the book. And one of the main themes that it always seems to come back to is that public education, not just in Baltimore, not just in New York City, but throughout the country, has come to prioritize not educating students, but acquiring funding, and then using that funding to hire more adults, which then grows the political power and influence of public education. So we talked about in the beginning of this interview that funding has gone up 30% in Baltimore City public schools, but the graduation rate has remained unchanged at 70%. Well, how can that happen? Well, it happens because the priority is not educating the kids. If the priority were educating the kids, the graduation rate would move up. And by the way, 70% is the lowest in the state of Maryland. You have to look at where the school systems are improving, and where they're improving is the amount of money that they're collecting. And this is an American problem. It started about 15, 20 years ago, where really the acquisition of funding became the primary focus of so many of our public schools.
And that's what I'm concerned about, and I'm concerned about our kids in every city, in every state. And now we have challenges in our Congress, not our Congress, our colleges and our universities. Have you thought about how do we challenge that?
Well, what we're seeing in the colleges and universities, and as you know, we're seeing massive amounts of debt. Kids are coming out of these colleges and universities with massive amounts of debt. And one of the main reasons for that is because these students are being undereducated in K through 12. And when they get to college, they're not ready. And they have to take a year's worth of remedial classes just to get ready for the college classes. And the issue with that is kids are spending all of their money just to get ready for college. By the time they start taking the college classes, they're already $15,000, $20,000 in debt. And it's because the public education system did not give them the education they needed in K through 12. But here's the kicker, is that the colleges, they don't want that to change either because they're making a lot of money. They're making money off these kids not being properly educated. And that's the big issue here. When you have giant school systems like New York, like Baltimore City, that are not properly educating the kids, there are so many adults and so many other institutions that are profiting off of that. And it's not just the administrators in the K through 12 public education system and also the teachers in those systems, like we're talking about now. The colleges are benefiting off of that as well.
Now, what happens is when I ran for mayor in New York City in 2013, I believed, and I was saying that there should be more vocational high schools for kids who are not really qualified to go to colleges and universities and end up with $200,000 in debt.
That's a huge problem as well. My father was a teacher in southeastern Pennsylvania for 35 years. He was a woodshop teacher. And when he retired in 2008, he was never replaced. His wood shop was taken away. And I know that I grew up in a wood shop, and I know the memories that I had doing that, but more importantly, I know the skills that I developed doing that. And those skills, kids are leaving high school, not just not being able to read or write proficiently, but they don't have skills like wood shop. They don't have skills like motor shop. I had that as well. I used to change my own oil and stuff in high school. And public education has really gotten away from a lot of those things because the focus, as we said, is not on educating the kids. It's on getting as much funding as you can. So how do you keep the money coming in? You keep the money coming in by keeping the students enrolled in the schools for as long as you can. That's what the focus in many public schools really has been.
Well, the name of the book is Failure Factory, and the author is Chris Papst, who is the investigative reporter at Fox 45 in Baltimore. And you could buy this, I guess, at any Amazon on your computer, right?
Yeah, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, anywhere books are sold.
Failure Factory by Chris Papst, P-A-P-S-T. Thank you so much, Chris Papst, for coming on, and thank you for what you do for our children.
Thank you.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.